Hi, it's Scott from San Antonio, the famous drum shop in the UK. We're in Ipswich and we're outside the Regent Theatre. We're going to see Rebecca Ferguson, but we're going to check out Adam and his drum kit now. So, yeah.
This is a DrumCraft Series 8. It's a birch shell. We've got the 10 by 8, 12 by 9. This is a 16 by 14 and an 18 by 16. That's absolutely awesome. That is when you end up working your way down there. And it's a 22 by 18 kick. The snare drum I'm using is a 14 by 5 steel DrumCraft. Together, kick and snare, wouldn't change it for anything at the moment. Satin chrome hardware. I went for the natural finish because a lot of drummers that I've been seeing have been getting these flash sparkly finishes, and there's a lot of new companies coming out with these big finishes, and I just wanted something really simple. And when I saw this, I was like, yeah, you know, especially with the hardware that's on it, you know, it's definitely a good looker. And I like the white bass drum head on the front with the logo on, you know, that rather than a black bass drum head, you know, I'm feeling that's cool.
Cymbals, you've got using Dream.
Yeah, I've really got on really well with these. I've got two setups. This is my main one. What I've got over here is a 17 Vintage Bliss Crash. And another Crash here. This is an 18 Crash Ride Vintage Bliss again. And this large Crash over here is a 19, another Vintage Bliss. I've really got on with these Crashes. This is a little new addition. This is just a 10-inch China. I don't use it very often, but it's just nice just to whiff it in there now and again. This is a Energy Dream Ride. That's really nice because you can use it, you can crash it as well. I do crash that quite a lot. A lot of these cymbals you can use as crashes or mini rides as well. Because they're so thin, and when you're playing, to get the sound you want, you don't have to hit them very hard, whereas some other cymbals I've tried, to get the sound you want, you really have to go for it. You know, so you have to sort of mix your drum playing a bit differently. But with this setup, you can still play quite quiet and get the sound that you want. The hats I've gone for 13s. I've got a set of 14s of these as well. These are Energy hi-hats. I sort of went for the 13s because I've got the 10 involved. I needed to downsize a little bit so I could fit in the 10. This is cool. This is just two contact splashes that I'm using as a second pair of hats. These are quite high up there. But this clamp's great as well because you can loosen the sound. So that, you know, if you don't want them as tight, you can have them so it's a bit more open. But for this one, I have them quite tight on that.
That's a DrumCraft arm, yeah?
This is a DrumCraft arm, yes. Yeah, so cymbal-wise, that's the setup I've got at the moment. Remos, full set of Remos. I've always used Remo. I love the coated Ambassador, which is such a versatile head. If I'm in a studio and I hear a track, I can sort of tune it very close to the sound for what they want. But I mean, the response you get on that, it's got a nice pop. I use a little bit of moon gel just to take off the edge of the ring. On the toms, all the toms, I've got clear Emperors, which I've always used, you know, because if I want to dampen them down, I can dampen them down. If I want them open, I can have them open. On the kick drum, I normally go for a Remo Power Stroke 3. I mean, in the bass drum, I tend to have quite a heavy pillow because I like it to be quite dead. So yeah, and then on the bottoms, these are all clear Ambassadors. Some of them have got a little bit of dampening on there just to take away a bit of the overtone. And yeah, that's it with the heads. Series 8 hardware, it's all double braced. The snare drum stand in particular I like. I know Pearl used to do them where you could move the claws in and out so you could fit on smaller drums. Now these do a different thing where you can angle them. So when I used to put the 12 on the snare drum stand, you can angle the claws so you can get the drum to sit flat on the stand, which means you don't have to over clamp it. Because if you over clamp it, it'll choke the drum. My pedals that I've got, I don't think I'll ever change the Iron Cobra classic, you know, because sometimes if I put my hi-hats on other stands, they just don't cut the same. It's almost as if they're a different cymbal, but it's not actually the cymbal. The stand's got quite a lot to do with it. I've got a Pearl Eliminator double chain. I like the action on that one because it's got the angle that you can change. I've got 3 different cams, but the red one on that, when you use that, you can really punch it into the kick drum. So I've been using that. Yeah, and that's pretty much it with the hardware. I've never really got into using sampling pads and the whole electronic thing, but a lot of it's needed nowadays, so it's something that I got into a couple of years ago. And I used to sample quite a lot of stuff on the old SPDS, but they never used to have the lights on it. So if you were using the trigger, you wouldn't know which one was playing. With this, because you've got the lights, you know where you're at, so it's quite easy to get yourself through the set. But I'm also using it with 2 triggers, Roland triggers, a kick drum trigger and a snare drum trigger. What I've done with that, I've got the actual drum samples, like the kick drum sample off of the record. I've got the original stem, and I've cut the kick drum sound, put it onto the SPDS, and then I'm mixing the kick drum and the snare drum sounds from the record. So as I go through the tracks with all the samples on, I'm also changing the kick drum and the snare drum sound. So then you can mix them with the real kick drum and the real snare drum and get a sort of different balance as you go through the set. It's great doing that. Once I've got the thresholds all set, because you have to change the sensitivity, you don't want them over triggering, so you have to get into that and make sure that, you know, that it's not overly too loud or too quiet per song. But I find that really, really helpful, and especially on the sub kick, or some of the more electronic tunes, when that comes through the subs here, really, you know, you can really notice the difference, you know, when you blend the two together. Vic Firth 5B nylons, I'm so used to playing them, I've been playing for so many years now, I wouldn't change. And the Vic Firth mallets and stuff like that, I've got some brushes in there, all Vic Firth. Hickory sticks, great. Jiwa cases, now they're really nice cases, they're like, similar to a protection racket. They're a soft case, but they're also a hard case on the top and the bottom, and they've got plastic insert down the edge. Yeah, they're really good cases. I'm really glad I got them. Protection racket drum mat. Yeah. You know, I tell you what's also good, I think these are protection rackets, these little circles. Yeah. Now, on the stands, they've all got numbers. Right. And there's numbers on the circles, and once you mark them all out, it's a really neat way of mapping out your kit, your tech. You know, so it's all, once he gets everything out, it's really self-explanatory, and everything just goes in the circles with the numbers, all the memory locks are in. And then when you're finished, everything comes off, and there's no tape on your mat or anything like that, it just rolls up. Hello everyone at Sound Attack, thanks you very much for coming down to, where are we, Regent's Theatre in Ipswich. Tonight I'm playing a show with Rebecca Ferguson. So it's really nice to have you down to come and check out the kit.
And that'll do.
And that'll do.